Howdy, buckaroos and buckarettes. Today I'm going to teach y'all how to make Southern barbecue. Southern China, that is. Helping me out will be my sidekick and loyal companion, Momo the Wonder Dog. What's that, Momo? Jimmy fell down the well? Well, he's just going to have to wait. I'm making barbecue. Alright, today I get to look at one of my favorite kinds of tag, food tag. My friends at A-Smoke have sent me over this smoker and a few bags of apple wood, and I'm going to put it together and teach you how to cook char siu. Char siu is originally a Cantonese specialty that's now famous and has its own localized versions all over the world. We are going to make the version that's famous here in Guangdong. But that does not really make it more authentic than any other. Every country in Asia has their own version of char siu. China has a 5,000-year-long history of famine, and when you don't have much food you cook to taste with what you've got, not with what's on a piece of paper, Cantonese immigrated all over the world and brought our food with us. Part of their culinary tradition was adaptability, a can-do spirit and willingness to work with whatever was at hand. We made what people liked, what they would pay for, and what let us support our families in places where often there were limited jobs we were permitted to do. If you adapt your char siu to your taste and what's available, well, that's very Cantonese of you and perfectly authentic. I'll just give you some place to start by showing you what's common here. Okay, since it's the first time I use this grill, I've turned it up to 176 to let it burn off for a while. Now I'm going to close the lid for 30 minutes. The smoker has finished and I've turned it off. I've got all the ingredients in the kitchen except pork and sugar. So I'm going to hop on my Extreme Bow scooter and visit my local market.
这绕跑多少公里啊？这个啊？绕跑多少公里
？40多公里吧。
啊
？40多公里吧。
40多公里路啊？
对。
那我跑了40多公里了，没电了，麻烦了。
你就往附近跑一跑，不跑别的地方。
上演，啼笑姻緣，情侶都笑過喊過，只像相戀，平淡最苦，煩惱很甜，榮幸到愛上兩個，卻又辛酸。若我可揀選，我的戀愛也要。
老板有猪肩肉吗？就是弄叉烧的。
弄叉烧的那个梅头，
对，有吗？
梅头有，
要3斤。
要3斤啊？
对。
好 ，OK。
不用切，就一整块。
这个零食不用。
你来做呢？
来上寸。差不多，哎，好，亮你。
啊？可以多，可以多一点点。
立即收款16元。
就打瘦的咯。
哎，等一下。
就是瘦的咯。
等一下，这是会打竖切好一点，我已经打横切了。我刚刚
不是打横切，好，不是打横切的。做叉烧，你回去以后最好会放定型，动一下放定型，然后切一薄片。
我就想着腌这好，不要这么多，就刚刚你切的那个就好了。就从那里切整个下来，整个下来没事，就要这么多。对。
师傅，你这还在上面吗？
谁？于正豪，应该是在上面。
门铃几？
我是405。对，你回去以后放在冰箱里面，放定型一下，然后切一片一片的切下来，好亮的这样子。
多少钱？我算。
109，什么？
全腿。
对呀。来，让你。
好了。
立即收款109元。
老板有没有白砂糖？
為怕愛人你變咗心，我終日提心吊膽，步步為營淚滿襟。雖然話車唔知邊個係我最愛嘅人，但我可以肯定十分唔想一個人。生則相聚，死日化蝶，當然感人。話裂痕有裂痕，倒算有質感。樂極生悲可能太震撼，太過分。情願悲劇太輪，苦盡我哋一鑊金。生可以攻，可以殺，可以壓，可以搶，可以偷，可以傷，可以收。就算隱隱的痛，都有種溫柔。手牽我手，掠我手，轉我手，得我手，塞我手，跟我走，趕我走。為你哭得出，我都覺得享受。心可以攻，可以守，可以呃，可以搶，可以偷，可以傷，可以收。就怕繽紛哭笑，總有所保留。手牽我手，掠我手，轉我手，得我手，塞我手，跟我走，趕我走。為我一世折墮，都覺得風流。情深，一生愛因種出點傷痕，就算殘忍亦僥倖，這心痛到超人。苦戀3000年，分手皆一念，匆匆只一年，偏偏很閃電。仙丹怎麼練，心經怎麼練，反覆的糾纏，怎麼止於事。
Now, I've sourced ingredients that I could find both here in China and on Amazon in the US, so it's easy for you to copy the recipe. Lee Kum Kee is a perfectly authentic Hong Kong brand. It's got English on it because, well, they use English also. Like most Cantonese, I somewhat favor some Hong Kong brands for cooking because the quality tends to be a bit higher. Today, we are going to be mixing our own char siu marinade. But the reality is lots of Chinese people use the pre-mixed sauce. Again, perfectly authentic. The main reason to mix your own is if you want to tweak the flavor to suit your taste. The char siu you get at your local restaurant is usually pre-mixed. Really, the biggest difference is in the pork cut, making sure it has good marbling and making sure it does not dry out. So if you've got good barbecue skills with similar cuts, that's going to transfer right over. Okay, the ingredients. And yes, I cook with a scale in metric because I'm not an ignorant savage. Yes, you can do dry and wet measures this way. It works fine. If you dial a recipe in, weight is also a much more consistent measure than jiggling teaspoons and tablespoons. 14 grams of garlic salt. 70 grams of sugar. 13 grams of oyster sauce. 13 grams of light soy sauce. 14 grams sesame sauce. 30 grams hoisin sauce. 5 grams Shaoxing wine. That's just rice wine. Okay. 5 grams fine spice powder. And it's optional, but 1 gram of red food coloring. And now 1 kilo of pork shoulder from the market. Now, the red color of char siu you are used to buying comes from a tiny drop of food color. People eat a ton of food coloring in processed foods every day, but start clutching their pearls when it comes to cooking with it themselves now and then. So a lot of recipes you find online for cooking suggest leaving it out, which, yeah, if you're eating it every day, it's a good idea. But let's get serious. If you are eating char siu every day, the sugar and fat is going to get you first. If you're eating it a couple times a month, a bit of red is probably fine. Personally, I think how food looks is as much a part of the experience of eating as taste and smell, and a lot of people just enjoy char siu more if it looks like they're used to. So I add a job. I do use a US brand though. Hate to say it, but I'm not sure I trust Chinese brands for that. That's actually pretty common. Most Chinese, we really like to use imported ingredients. Standards have gotten a lot better in recent years, but we've had problems in the past, and that trust is going to take a while to earn back. Alright, so you can trim off any really huge hunks of fat, but don't try it too closely. Okay, now you're going to put it in a plastic bag, massage it a bit. And marinate it in the refrigerator anywhere from 6 to 24 hours. I've preheated the A-Smoke pellet smoker to about 176 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, now I lay the marinated char siu out and I'm going to smoke it at 176 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes. All of the temperature settings and ingredients are in the description box. Sorry, I have to voice over this part. This is what the background audio sounds like. they decided to start digging up the road after I got all set up to shoot. As you can see, the smoker is already having trouble holding temperature. Base it, flip it, and base it again with a mix of 50% water, 50% winter honey. I'll put the Chinese name for this in the description box. And as you can see, it's stuck and burned a bit. A little bit of burning around the tips actually adds to the flavor, but it should not do that so soon. Something's up. I'll add more wood pellets. Now, we let it cook for another 15 minutes. Yeah, that's nowhere near the 176 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit we need to be. And I've turned the dial all the way up as high as it will go. I'm going to base it and flip it again, but at the mid thermometer to see where we stand. Smoker temperature is still dropping, and the mid thermometer says 15.2 degrees Celsius, and we are aiming for 62. I'm going to bring that inside and try to save it in the oven before it gets dried out.
Well, that was a little frustrating. You missed a bit there, but I could not get the smoker to stay at the proper temperature. Then even stay ignited. After burning the ends of the meat, it stopped cooking it at all halfway through. So after an hour of trying to get the smoker to work while the meat got cold, I stuck it in my oven to finish it off. Let's see if I was able to salvage anything. The tiny bit of dryness is just from having to cook it twice. Still better than store-bought. Now I can eat it on rice with bok choy, diced in fried rice or scrambled eggs, or sliced thin. It will be great on pizza or subs with garlic bread. I can freeze a few baggies of it and it won't go to waste. Whether the problem is the smoker or my operation of it, I'm not sure. I haven't gotten a good explanation from the company why the smoker turns off so much and it's so hard to get up to temperature once you do get it going. Maybe it's a beta unit. Now, the crowdfunding for ACEMO pellet grill smoker is over for the moment, but it will be starting up again soon. Hopefully, before that happens, there will be some better instructional videos out or some problems get solved. Because I read and watched everything I could and well, I just could not make it work, and as a barbecue enthusiast, I'm pretty disappointed because it's a well-built unit and a good idea. Unfortunately, we can't win them all and not all project outcomes are successful. But at least I got some good char siu out of it, and you got a recipe to make some also if you want. That's it for today. Until next time, if I can do it, anyone can do it.